All right, Eric, you're up.
All right, so I'm gonna start fighting like a fucking Wolverine for my obscure ass games
Let's do it.
because screw you guys. Um, so this is what I'm going with, all right? I'm going with this game on my list. I feel like this game absolutely this deserves a place on top 25 console games just because it was revolutionary in what it did and it's a great freaking game. And I really don't care what anyone else has to say about it. Um,
But we're going to talk
this
about it
game,
anyways.
yeah, of course. This game, and I'll tell you guys a little story about it. It's great. Anyway, the game's called Out of This World. Um, there isn't a single screen you have to read in this game.
Oh,
There's not one word of voice acting in this game, but this game tells a freaking story that you get emotionally invested in, and it does it with weird 16-bit facial expressions that's absolutely insane. This game tells a story that I feel like if this game didn't come out, other video games wouldn't be able to tell the story as good as they did. Um, it's an emotional story. The graphics are weird. For this was the first time I played a game where I felt like I'm playing a movie. To this day, I hope they make a movie with this game because of how good the story is. And to do that with no words and just screens is insane. And I feel like and the music is incredible in this game. This game was designed by one dude. And to this day he gets asked, "Will you make a sequel? Will you make another one? Will you remake this with better graphics and stuff?" And he says no. He won't. It was a one-off, and that's it. If you stay on the title screen of this game to watch the beginning of the story, again, no words, and you know what's happening, and you know what's going on. This game hits all of the Indiana Jones feels for me, all of the adventure feels for me. I absolutely believe honestly believe games like Last of Us and other games would not happen if this game didn't come out. Um, so yeah, and I'm gonna fight like hell. I believe it deserves a place on top 25 list of all time.
Hmm.
I just kind of looked it up, and it looks cool. They've released it like 6 million times, so
Yes,
and
it's been
apparently
released
it's
on.
good. I mean, I could be open. I like those obscure games, and some of those obscure games are freaking phenomenal, and they should be
Yeah.
on there. And you make a valid point.
Yep.
My challenge is I haven't played it.
And not a lot of people have. Maybe no one in here has, except for
I have.
Wolf. Wolf's probably played it and he thinks it's a dumpster fire, but
No,
well,
no, not at all. You are very wrong, Mr. Ostrom. Um,
okay.
I have it for Super Nintendo. It's it's got I first off I love the scary kind of vibes. It's got like kind of like I don't know what's the guy I'm thinking of? Is it Lovecraft? It's got like HP Lovecraft. It's kind
Yeah, a
of
little
got
bit. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of got like those vibes, but it was so hard. Yeah, I just remember like cussing and cursing. Like I just couldn't get past a certain point, but I remember liking it. Like I thought the graphics were great and had like a really good story, but do I dare say it was like kind of like Dark Souls of the Super Nintendo era? I mean, it really was punishingly hard. Um, and I wish I could have played more to see more of the story and really enjoy it. But um, I mean, top 25 of all time. I mean, that's I think that's a stretch. This my
Yeah, like
I really do. I mean that top 25. I mean, you're talking about iconic games. I mean, Out of This World is it is obscure, and I think
it's number 7 on my list of top
that's
25
amazing.
games
Well,
I have ever played.
you get a no from me. I'll make it short and sweet.
I'm like Dan, never played it. I know what it is. Don't don't know that anybody that really likes it except for you. I'm gonna pass just because I don't know enough about it. I need to play it.
Did you say you
Maybe
don't
for
know
the next
anybody
list.
that likes it? That's awesome.
No.
Oh my god.
All right, so we're gonna table that one too. We'll set that one aside.
Yes. None of my games are getting in, so
Well,
I
you
have
already
to
had
fight
you
for
had a
these.
couple in there. You had some
Yeah,
good,
I had a
yeah.
I had
You
a
got
couple
Chrono
in.
Trigger you threw in there, man.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
all right, so
Okay.
who's up next? It's Wolf, isn't it? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going plain Jane on this one. I really want
Sans
to see
pants.
how the guys vote for this, because to me it has to be on the list. I mean, this is my out of this world pick. Okay, I mean, this game, I think everybody and their mother across the world has played it in various iterations.
Son of a!
It was a pack-in game.
It's gonna frickin' make it to this frickin'
Sold
list.
Game Boy. I love the Tengen version on Nintendo. I love the Super Nintendo version called Plus. There's newer
Tetrisphere.
versions now. Tetrisphere, yes. My game's Tetris, so I'm gonna make it short and sweet.
Oh,
I don't have to really talk about it.
You get
but
my vote.
Yeah,
Top
yeah.
25.
one of the greatest games of all time.
Top 25.
Got
yes.
my vote. Got my vote.
Yep, Tetris.
Yeah. So
Played
that's
it.
3.
Liked it. Not my top 25. Am I gonna play Tetris ever again? No. So I'm gonna pass.
There are so many people that play Tetris all the time. That's all they play. Like
Sure,
all
not
they
me.
play.
I'm gonna go play Mass
Yeah.
Effect again.
I know, and I'm not knocking you. I'm like, all right, yep. So what do you
And
think,
again,
Wales?
back to our iconic games that meant a lot to the history. Absolutely, I would vote it on that. This is talking top 25 games you should play today. If you guys voted in, it's in. I'm not gonna argue.
I
that it's not.
I just played a version of Tetris. Did they? Yeah, I've played older versions of Tetris, and I do it regularly. So I'm like,
Nice.
I just would
Yeah.
I would
Oh
play
yeah.
it.
Yep.
What do you think,
Me
Wales?
too.
Wales is the deciding vote.
Yep.
Never heard of it. Never played it.
Yeah.
I've never played a Tetris game in my life.
Oh,
I don't
stop
know.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
don't believe that.
This game
It's Puzzle
is
Fighter now.
Yeah.
Hey, I
This
love
game
Puzzle
is
Fighter.
just
Me too.
now. But hey, I do too. That's a fun ass game. That's the only Street Fighter I'll play. It's not even a Street Fighter, but anyway, this game is still popular since it just got back into headlines as the kill stream was just found
Mhm.
in the thought to have been unbeatable NES version. It's not my top 25 list, but should it be there? I have no problem saying that because it is a game that has been copied so many times, and that's the best form of flattery is if someone just copies your thing. I mean, I play it on Nintendo. My wife plays all the time. It's sold. Didn't it come with the Game Boy? If you bought a
Yep,
Game Boy,
game
isn't that what
packing
it came
game.
with?
Yes, it was the
Yeah,
packing game.
packing
for Game
game.
Boy.
I mean, I remember watching some graphic where it was like the top selling game, and like Tetris was just out there, and obviously got surpassed eventually. But I mean, when you think of classic video games and stuff, it's there. It just is. So I have no problem tipping off one of my backseat sides cousin games that no one's going to care about and putting Tetris in its spot. I have no problem doing that.
Tetris is in. Tetris
Nice.
is
Made a
in.
movie about it too.
Hey, and the
Yes,
movie is
a very good
amazing.
one.
The movie is
A
great. It is
very
not
good
for
movie.
children though. Not a children's
No,
movie.
no,
It
it's
is
not a
no.
children's movie.
It's
but
not-
it is a
yeah.
great movie.
No.
All right, so this is me. All right, so this is one of those, and it's going to be a fighting game, and I'm gonna throw it out there because I feel this is if there's going to be one other fighting game in genre that's going to be in the top 25, it is going to be this specific game.
Yep.
And
Gets my vote.
it is freaking dope. Anybody that's played any 2D fighters knows what I'm going to talk about, and it is
Oh, never
Marvel
mind.
versus Capcom 2.
Not what I was
no,
thinking.
yeah,
Wait a second.
Not what I was thinking.
Hold the phone.
No,
Yeah.
so I know you guys were thinking Dead or Alive. I love Dead or Alive,
Yeah.
but top
No.
So I did the
25.
jigglies.
Not
but
if you
this gets my vote.
yeah. So Marvel versus Capcom 2 is I believe quintessential 2D fighter. Even more so, I think it's a better fighting game. Sorry, Wales, than Mortal Kombat 2. I just do. But Mortal Kombat 2 is still great. They're different enough for it to be. But that game, if there was one, I'm not exaggerating. If there was one fighting game and I could not play any other fighting games, just one, it would be Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It just would. That game is great. It plays fast. And it has to be. This is the Dreamcast version I'm talking about because it is by far the best version, not the Xbox version. It's fast, colorful, lots of characters. Wolfman and I talked about, some of the characters have some of the same kind of moves, but their move sets are different. So they would take bits and pieces and Frankenstein move sets. So you'd get a character, but the character, you couldn't play it the same as this other character because it didn't have all of that same character's move sets. There was other ones that were put in. So very, very fun game. You could play it forever because there was so many unlocks in the game. It has to be, if we're having a second fighting game in there, it's even over Street Fighter for me. I'm sorry. If we're talking and I'm a Street Fighter dude, it's going to be Mortal Kombat 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as the top fighting games at Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Two, right? Yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 specifically for top 25 games of all time. But that's going to be it.
So I'm with Dan on this. This one definitely gets my vote, and the reason it gets my vote is because for me this scratches the Street Fighter itch for me, and it does it better, and it's got my all-time favorite character, which is Morgan, and
Felicia.
She's in it. No, Morgan's way better. Morgan and Chun-Li, those are my girls, and they're both in there.
Call this one Morgan, this one's Chun-Li.
Right, exactly. And so, yeah, definitely gets my vote. And I feel like it's way different than Mortal Kombat 2. It's not even in the same realm. So, yeah, I think it goes
realm.
Okay, that's 2 votes.
Wales?
I'm still thinking. Someone else go.
Wolf?
It wasn't in my top 25, but I mean, if there's going to be another fighter, I have Street Fighter 2 on my list. But I could interchange them because I do like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 that much. So I would cross out my Street Fighter 2 pick and I would vote for Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm taking one for the team.
It's all coming together.
So I enjoy Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Not my cup of tea. Love the character roster. Massive roster. I wasn't big into the fight 2 screens up and pull out all your combos and all that stuff. That being said, if we're gonna put 2, I do not have 2. I only have 1 on my list. If we're gonna put 2, I like Tekken better. I could be swayed to this because I understand it is an iconic game. I understand a lot of people really cherish this game. So I could be convinced to put this on the list as a top 25. Like Wolf said, taking one for the team.
All right, so it's in.
Wales, give us the all 5.
Kind of same thing because I'm Tekken true. I do like a couple other fighting franchises better, but like Killer Instinct comes to mind. But I don't have a problem with it because I enjoy the game like you guys do. The first one's still fun, just 2-on-2. Then Marvel switches in with that roster and it's 3-on-3. The only thing I hate about the game is, I'm playing in the arcades. Every battle goes to freaking time limits. Because it's just, and I hate that. Like, I'd sit there. That's my only nog as a game is, I would always go to time limits, and I'd either win or lose, and I hated that. But if we're gonna put another fighter on there, I don't have a problem with it since it won't be a Tekken game. Then I don't mind again swapping out one of my games for it. So sure go ahead and do a 5 out of 5.
And guess
Yeah.
what, guys? That was number 20. That means there's only 5 spots left.
Okay.
Okay, we're getting close. We're getting close. All right,
Yep.
so who's up next? It's Wales. Wales again.
Okay, so I'm gonna be that guy, and I'm gonna put in a genre we haven't even discussed yet.
Ooh.
And it's probably not, and I'm gonna say something that's not even. I've got other games of this genre ranked higher, but I'm gonna just throw this one out there just to see.
Just to see how it feels. You're gonna just stick it in.
Just to see,
Stick it in.
we're
See
gonna
how
stick
it
it
feels
in.
right
We're gonna
now.
we're gonna see what reaction I
Yeah.
get. It's not gonna be a popular.
You're gonna
one
apologize
because
later.
there's not many people or fans of this genre here, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there because there's just this genre hasn't been touched and it's a popular genre, and that's the sports games. We haven't talked of any sports games, and I'm gonna go with the. We haven't talked about racing. Twisted Metal's the closest we've gotten to racing, which is not racing.
Mario Kart.
Yeah, we
that
got
too. But I mean,
It's not really racing either.
not really racing either.
Yeah.
When I say racing, I'm thinking of like Gran Turismo, or I'm thinking
Yeah.
of another game like on my list. I have Ridge Racer Revolution on there, but like at 25. But I'm gonna go with a game that is still, to me and a bunch of other people who have this opinion, it's still the best one made of this sport, and it is actually still modded to this day with active rosters and even the new expanded teams in it and jerseys and stuff. And that's ESPN NFL 2K5. I know it's not a top 25, but I'm throwing it out there because if I could play a football game, it still holds up today. The ESPN in it was great. The usually commentary sucks on games. The commentary was spot on this. It was a great gameplay. It had the crib added thing to it, which was big MTV at the time because this was 2004 when this came out. It's 2K5. There was a year out. It was just phenomenal. It had when you played your season, you could actually watch a replication of an ESPN broadcast of your actual season. You could watch a quickened like 10-minute episode of ESPN with Chris Berman, Susie Colbert, and Tom Jackson, and they were actually doing an episode of how your season was going with your stats, talking about your game, showing highlights. The mechanics were great for it. You were able to use the juke stick, and it worked really well. Instead of just being an animation, you did what you were telling the controller to do. It was the first football game, I believe, that had the first-person view and a quarterback. Now where you could actually be behind center, and then you would tilt the controller, and that would move the quarterback's head, and then press the button and throw to receivers. That wasn't in any Madden or other football game. The mini games on it in the crib, you could unlock a paper football game or a air hockey table, and I caught myself playing paper football against the computer for an hour or so just because you could decorate your crib with whatever team stuff you got and unlocked as you played on and stuff. So I know you guys are not super big sports fans and stuff, but for me, the best football game that was ever made is ESPN NFL 2K5. So go ahead and dump on it, and I'm okay with it.
So I'm gonna say I'm absolutely not a sports game fan at all. For me to play a sports game, it's got to have a hook in it that isn't sports related, like the NBA jams or the on ices, or I mean, I have a sports game on my list, but it's because it's completely not a sports game. So I can't have an opinion on this just because I just don't play sports games. So
I mean,
Go ahead.
I like some sports games, but I like the more arcadey NFL Blitz, NBA Jam, the wrestling games. So for me, a 2K game, not top 25. So for me, it's a pass.
Yeah, I would go the same way, Wales. I mean, I love your choice because I do like that game. But I'm like them, like NBA Jam or NFL Blitz 2001 or Mutant League Football, something like that. But again, they're not going to be top 25 for me. They're going to be great. There's a lot of, if I feel like playing a sports game, that 2K is going to be up there. So yeah, but no, sorry. It's good, but not 25 for me.
All right, move on. Done. You don't even have to give my
Nope.
opinion at this point.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going off script here.
Let's do it.
I'm not going off of my list.
Oh, you're throwing around.
All right.
I'm looking at your guys' list. I'm thinking of how our list has been formed. In my opinion, I think we need, and this is going to be tough for Wales, just taking one on the chin with that sports game. I think we need a second Legend of Zelda game on this list.
Oh.
We have the original Zelda. Eric mentions that. Dantron has Ocarina of Time of the N64. I personally love Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. I think we should at least have a discussion. Does a second Zelda game deserve to be on the list? If so, which one?
So my thought is, and I'll put it in because I'm the only other one I think that has 2 Zelda games on my list.
Oh, you have 2.
Yeah, I have 2 Zelda games. Link to the Past is already in.
Yep.
And the reason why I'm not going to argue for the second Zelda game on my list, which is the original, is because Link to the Past is kind of the same, only better.
Mm-hmm.
If we are going to put another one on there, another Zelda game, and I could totally see that happening, I feel like we would have to go with a 3D one. Ocarina of Time is a great pick for it. However, Twilight Princess is also awesome.
Yes.
I really loved both of those games. I'm not a huge I like cel shaded graphics, but I wasn't a huge fan of Wind Waker. I actually like Spirit Tracks better than Wind Waker.
Really?
But if we had to add another one, my vote would go towards Ocarina of Time.
And Eric, Wind Waker, I didn't like my first time playing it either. When I played it the second time, I actually respected it a lot more because I wanted that realistic look that they, like the Twilight Princess. So I did not like it at first, but I mean, I'm all for a second one. If we decide not to, that's fine too. But The Legend of Zelda is an iconic franchise like Mario, and the games do stand apart from each other that I do think we needed to at least have this discussion. Wolf?
Well, I mean, I know the importance of Ocarina of Time, and I just, N64 for me, just I have some bad memories of it. I'm good with what's in now as far as the Zelda game. I could be talked into Eric's pick of the original Legend of Zelda because that's what started it all for me. And but I'm good.
I'm gonna throw something else a little bit different in there for the sake of time, and I like these conversations when we start talking about a few things bouncing around. I don't think it would have to be a Legend of Zelda specifically. I think really what we're talking about is a 3D platformer, and because I wholeheartely believe that there needs to be another 3D platformer on there specifically, and I got 2 that I'm thinking of. One is not going to make it in, but the other one is, if we're going to talk about Ocarina of Time, I think there's actually another game that same console that is better than Ocarina of Time, and I would put that one up before putting another Zelda in there. So
I love how we're just ignoring Wales because we already know what he's gonna say.
Yeah,
Streets of Rage 2 or Turtles in Time.
Zelda.
I can think of any fucking. I can Balls on 3DO.
Yeah, Balls 3D.
Yep.
Nice.
Sonic Spinball.
Anything with balls in the anything with balls in it.
Farm Simulator.
So Dan, what game are you pivoting to? I think we know, but for the audience.
All right, so I didn't know if I was going to just bring it up or whatever, but if we're talking, because you brought up Zelda and maybe one of Zelda, but I'm actually thinking it's more a 3D platformer, not necessarily having to be Zelda, And
Okay.
this is my favorite 3D platformer on N64, and it's probably my second favorite 3D platformer overall, right behind Mario Sunshine, and it's Banjo and Kazooie. Banjo and Kazooie,
Interesting.
it's kind of a hidden gem in my opinion. It is such a freaking good game. The humor in it is fantastic. The graphics are great. The level design is phenomenal. The music is great. The hidden abilities and all the stuff that you unlock, all of those things come together so freaking well with that game, and it's just long enough too. It's not overly long and it's not too short. It hits every single spot for me. And so, but that's the one that I would say. Rather, if I had to choose 3D platformers and go between Ocarina of Time and Banjo Kazooie would freaking kick Ocarina of Time out, like easy, like not even. I don't even have to think about it. Boop, gone. So, but that's
How
just me.
about this, Dan? Ready for this?
I'm ready.
Because I like your Banjo Kazooie like pick,
No,
but
I know
I
what he's
think
gonna
this
say
game
now.
might even rival it, and that's
Ooh.
Rayman Legends. As
Ah,
far as a 3D platformer with humor and just to me, that's one of my favorite platformers of all time. I would pick Rayman Legends over Banjo Kazooie, but that's just me. So I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, but I'm just
no, and
tossing stuff out.
but this is
No, I
Endgame's
think
thing.
we're to the
Yeah.
point where we can mix in the
Yep.
Okay.
conversation.
So-
you know,
So Endgame, you brought up this. So what I'm getting from this though is I don't think either one of those are going to make the 25 at this moment. I think they're going to be tabled.
sure.
So, but
Agreed.
that's a great opening to where I'm getting all excited again, getting my second wind because I like where this is going now. Because we're
Yeah.
getting now to the
Well-
point where we got 5 games. We got 5 games we're talking about. So we're gonna start. Is it better than this? Is it better than this? We've been thinking about this. What's really the reason why we're? I think this is going to be great, and I would say that we just want to probably table those ones at the moment.
Okay,
Sure.
Whose
Yeah.
turn is it?
Eric.
It's Eric's.
my turn. Can someone real quick, and I know I haven't been doing my homework. What were the original 6 that were in?
I got you. I'll just give. You want me to give them all, or just the 6? Because you missed a few. You were gone, and you missed 2 of them. Okay. The original 6: Super Mario 3, Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, Final Fantasy 7, Super Metroid, and Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. You also missed God of War 3 and Diddy Kong's Quest, Donkey Kong Country 2.
Okay. Did those make it in?
They did.
Yes.
Those are in.
Both of those are in.
Even without you.
Oh shit.
Yep.
All right. All right. So, I mean, I know this. We've talked about this character a lot already, and he's already mentioned in there a bunch of times. But I gotta say it because it's a freaking good ass game. Mario RPG.
I know. I'm having a hard time
Bring in
arguing.
the fire.
I'm having a hard
It's
time
a-
arguing
It's a
against that one.
fantastic game. Is it another JRPG? Kind of. Is it? But it's freaking good.
Is it
It
better
is.
than Chrono Trigger or? Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
It is not better than Chrono Trigger.
It is not better than Chrono Trigger. It is not better than Final Fantasy 3.
Correct.
Those 2 games stay in. Nitty gritty time. I would be
Wait,
willing
Final
to vote
Fantasy
for-
3 is in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be willing to vote for Super Mario RPG over some of these others, like possibly Twisted Metal 2, possibly
Ah!
what was
They're
another
just
one?
like, no.
Oh, Mega Man X. You know what I mean?
Halos. Yep.
Yeah,
I would too.
So if we're on the chopping block, absolutely, I think that could get in. Are there a few other games out there that I think might be better? Maybe, but I mean, as of right now, we're late in the game. You have my vote. I'd vote Super Mario RPG. I love that game.
I love it too. So I mean, it's I don't know what to say. I mean, we got a lot of. It's
That's
I mean,
awesome. I
can't
love
look-
how hard this is.
This is tough. This is really
It is.
tough because you're talking about 5 spots. I mean,
Yeah.
Let's put it this way, Eric. It's for sure in the top 50, 30, 35
Yeah.
for sure. It's just a
Yep.
matter of, is it top 25?
Right.
It's tough. Hey,
Yeah.
I'd vote for it based on what our maybes are. There's a couple maybes I want in there over this, but
Mm-hmm.
I think this one.
I think you could twist my arm to vote for it.
Would I vote it above some of the other ones that are still out there? No.
Okay.
That if there was nothing that was on the table that I thought was not as good, but I still think like Streets of Rage 2 I think is better. So, and we already have RPGs in there. So,
Sure.
But you know what? I will take one for the team as well because I do like Super Mario RPG, and I will give you a go. That's 3 of us, right? 4?
Wales, any
Is that
thoughts?
Here we go.
RPGs, really poor games.
Wales,
No.
you're going to have to play all these games. Once the top 25 is done, you're going to be like, this Sunday Funday, we're playing every top 25 game that we came up with.
Yeah.
I have no problem doing that, honestly. It's just gonna, when you play really poor games, they just suck up a lot of time, which is why I don't like them. They take forever to get going, and it's never played it, never wanted to play it.
That's why you turn it on, you go to the title screen, and you go, there you go, turn it right back off. It's on.
Yeah.
Played
You
it.
saw it.
It loaded. No.
Yeah. Here's the theme.
Yeah, again, I'd rather have a Turtles in Time. I'd rather have a Streets of Rage 2. I'd rather have, God, I'd even take a Rock Band over him.
Hey,
So
Wales, we're gonna bring those games up yet, and we can pull a game out too. So if we all decide, you know what, Rock Band's going in, well then we're gonna have to go. Well, there's 25 games. Which one we pulling out?
Yeah.
So just because it's going in, it's kind of going in, right? Me and Wolf.
I mean,
like,
is there 4 votes for
No,
Mario RPG right now?
I don't think
Okay.
I'm voting for it.
So there's no.
okay, you're flipping it. Okay.
Yeah,
So we only got 3. We only got
Okay.
3 on that.
I think we should table it. I'm just not sold yet.
Okay.
Yep. Sounds good. All right, Wolfman, you're up now.
All right, Eric, I'm going to give you your you asked for this, and I think it's time to bring it up because we need this type of game. It's one of the best stories and most immersive worlds I've ever played. It's called, the world was Rapture. It was underwater, and it's one of my favorite first-person kind of shooting type games, drama, and that's BioShock, the original. I still think it stands as one of the best first-person shooting drama games that I've ever played.
So hold on. I got one caveat to this. I don't want to come off as someone that doesn't like first-person shooters. I love first-person shooters. I just prefer to play them on PC. And that being said, BioShock has my vote right away. It's a great game.
BioShock 1 and 2. I liked them both. I like the multiplayer aspect of BioShock 2 so freaking much, but BioShock 1 got my vote.
Wow. It's Endgame and Wales, and I already know
Wales?
what Wales is going to say, so.
All right. I take that as a no.
This guy sucks. Why the fuck is he even on this thing?
No, I love it, dude.
Yeah.
And I respect
like
you
it,
and
yeah.
your opinion. This is just
Um,
fun. You think I'm going to
well,
slit
I
my
already-
throat if BioShock doesn't get in? I can give
No, but I mean,
two
it's
flying
just like,
poops.
No, I
it's
love
just
it.
like it's like everybody's just like, oh, you're the 4th vote if you can make it great. And it's
No,
like, it's
Endgame
like,
is too.
I know,
Alright.
but
He hasn't said anything.
Okay,
yeah,
so I already mentioned not a big fan of the first-person shooters. You know, Call of Duty, Halo, gravitated towards third person. That being said, this is the game that made me want to play first person because the game looks so amazing. Rapture, a phenomenal environment underwater. I spent tons of time just looking out the window, seeing what was out there. The powers were amazing. The big daddies, talk about intimidating bosses. And Dan, you mentioned BioShock 2. Well, what about BioShock Infinite? That game's a lot of good
Yes,
too.
awesome.
That's a mind twist, that one.
Yeah.
And if anyone watched the Sony State of Play, they had the Judas game, which
Yep.
is from the same team. So
Yep.
absolutely, BioShock, it wasn't on my top 25, but it deserves to be close to that. We're down to the nitty gritty. It's getting in.
Whoa!
Nice, that's it. BioShock's
A-
in.
BioShock, a shock.
And BioShock is in.
Yeah.
And there's a nice little twist in the game too, right?
Oh yeah.
Wales, I would sit and fucking play any RPG with you watching, making the fucking commentary. As
Oh
if
my
it were a
God.
TV
I would pay
show.
money to hear it.
Yeah.
I
It
would
would
probably
be-
be like the closest version of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yes,
With
I
that,
would totally do that.
I would pay money.
I would be bored out of my skull, but I would at least make it entertaining. Like, I mean, I try. I'll give it a try, but I'll call it like I see it.
We got 21 games, folks.
All right, let's go.
Four left.
All right, so this next one is probably not making it in. It's probably not, and I'm sad about it because if I had to say this is my second Resident Evil game, my second favorite one, and I'm going to bring it up, and we already have Resident Evils on there. We've already talked about Resident Evil 4. I already know how you guys feel about it, but this game, this Resident Evil game, story-wise, I would put up there just as good as Resident Evil 2. Maybe even a little better because Resident Evil 2 it had the added bonus of the two different stories that intersected. This one didn't really have that. But it is Resident Evil Code Veronica. Resident Evil Code Veronica, and I believe that it is one of those iconic games that can be in a top 25. Main reason is the story. This still has tank controls, but the story, the graphics hold up. The puzzles were good. The game itself was long enough, but not, again, just like Banjo-Kazooie, but not too long. The story itself sucked you in, and it wasn't like you're in a mansion or you're in this part of the city, and then, you know, you're going down under, and you're all in this kind of the same, like, fire station or whatever you're going to be in. No, this one actually took you to different, like, continents. Like, you know, you're in a prison in this one spot. You got to break out of the prison. How am I going to get out of this prison? You're getting out of this prison that's all taken over by zombies. You're fighting freaking tanks and stuff, and then you got to fly away, and you end up in Antarctica, and you're fighting not only zombies but different types of mutants that now are like mutated with moths and insects and stuff. And it was so freaking cool. And the way that they made the story that you actually you're getting different paperwork and stuff from different scientists, and you're trying to find out like how they were mutating the things, and then it goes back to the very beginning. Like it tells it. So this is, I want to say, what was this? This was 2001, so it was pre-4, so it was post Nemesis. But anyways, but the way that it told the story of where Resident Evil was at now, but then it also blended into where it came from with the two siblings and how they were. Oh, dude, I don't want to give it away, but the story is freaking awesome. And so again, Resident Evils, I know we got a lot of great games on here, but this game, I swear, needs to be on this list. Even if it's towards the bottom of it, it has to be on. And it's old school, retro, iconic games that people should play. This is it. This is one of them.
Well, I'll go first.
All right.
I agree. 2 Resident Evils have to be on our top 25. There's amazing games in that franchise that are different enough. Is Code Veronica the game? I love it. I love it, Dan. I do. The first game, remade on GameCube, phenomenal. The first time I was ever scared. I would vote for that game, but it sounds like I don't have enough votes. Resident Evil 4 is the game that should be on there. Every gamer should play it, even if you're not survival horror genre. Like Resident Evil 2, yeah, if you're not into survival horror, you don't play Resident Evil 2. Any gamer should play Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 would be my vote. It has the unlockable mercenaries mode. It was a 20-hour campaign, which was pretty meaty for a single player, but you kept going to different islands and different locations in that game as well, and it changed up the gameplay as you went. You have the merchant where you can buy stuff, the attaché case. I don't want to make it about Resident Evil 4. I'm just saying a second Resident Evil, in my opinion, needs to be on there. If it's not Resident Evil 4, if it's not Resident Evil 1, you have my vote. If we need to switch it to one of those, I think we need 2 Resident Evil games.
Wait, so Resident Evil 4 to complete it took 20 hours?
Yes.
Yep.
Or more, depending on your skill level.
Yeah, there's
It's
like
hard.
hidden collectibles. You could find hidden gems and trade them in for upgrades for your weapons and stuff like that.
Well, you've watched my gameplay, right? I mean, I search everywhere, so my gameplays are going to be slower because I want to find all that stuff.
Yep.
Jeez.
I'm going to say no to 2 Resident Evils on the top 25 list.
Okay,
Wolf?
that's fair. I mean, you're talking about 4 spots left, and we haven't even voted in Turtles in Time, which is one of my favorite games of all time. I can't vote for that yet. There's too many. There's Streets of Rage 2 is still out there. There's Mega Man X, which I love. 4 spots. I think it should be tabled. I think it should be talked about with Resident Evil 4. I'm not ready to give it Code Veronica the vote.
We can talk about Resident Evil 4 now. If there's enough votes and we have enough feeling for Resident Evil 4, I'm willing to, like I said, I was there with it. I still believe that Code Veronica is better than 4. So, but that being said, if we want to throw a second one on there and we get enough people saying, yes, I believe that 4 needs to be on there, and basically what I'm talking about is everybody but Eric, because Eric's already said no. So
yeah, I don't think we have enough votes for it, so I'm not even going to bring it up.
Okay.
I think it's tabled because it's Dantron, me, and Endgame, and Eric and Wales don't feel strongly for it, so I think we should just move on.
Yep, move on.
Okay, we'll
We're
just
good.
put it on the list for maybe a late
Table
one.
it.
Yep. All right, Wales, you're up, buddy.
Hey, great choice though, Dantron. Love Code Veronica.
I love me some
and
Code
Code
Veronica.
Veronica X on PlayStation 2.
Oh yeah,
the
that's
West
better.
stuff.
That's the better version. Code
Yeah.
Veronica 2 or X on PlayStation 2 is better than the Dreamcast. Go ahead, Wales. Sorry.
Okay. So I know you're fine. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna bring up one on my list. Popular franchise hasn't been mentioned yet. Y'all probably shoot it down, and that's fine. But I just got this game back. I love it. It spawned many sequels, still current to this day. It's just fun as hell with a buddy of yours playing, and it's Contra for NES. I love playing Contra. It's just nostalgic. It's a great franchise, just side-scrolling shooter. Simple enough. I mean, you could also throw in, if you want to say, any of the Metal Slugs, but I mean, it's all thanks to Contra. And so that's my pick.
It's funny you say that because Metal Slug 5 is on my list, and so similar.
Yeah, I guess same. You can go with either franchise, but just on my list would be Contra.
My opinion.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
My
You
opinion,
go.
The Contra franchise I enjoy better than the Metal Slug franchise, and I would pick Contra 3: The Alien Wars if we're going to put one in. That would be my vote, but I can be potentially swayed.
I agree with Endgame. If I'm going to pick one, I think a Contra deserves it. I think Wales is on to something, but I would slightly put Contra 3 ahead of Contra 1, even though Contra, the original, is iconic.
Right.
With the 30, lives code. And
Yes.
it's just, I'm down to vote for a Contra, okay? I'll put it that way.
Okay.
I'm
Eric?
down to vote for a Contra also.
Wales, what's your thought on Contra 3 compared to the first Contra?
I still like the first one better, but if it gets something on my list actually worth a damn, I will switch.
No, I
To a
support
3.
Wales. Contra 1.
I mean, I prefer one, but I mean, it's
And
whatever the majority says.
here's the
Larson,
twist.
Go for
This
it.
is the majority. I'm going with 1 as well.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
3
alright.
votes for 1.
3-2.
Contra 1 is in.
No,
Let's
it's
do
not.
it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is
Is it? Because it's 3-2.
I didn't vote
so,
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
In-game and Wolf are 1 and
oh,
3.
you guys didn't?
Yeah.
No,
No.
you guys said
They
3.
want-
You
they
said you want 3.
Contra 3.
Okay.
I want
Yeah.
3.
Okay. Nope.
Yeah.
Then it's not in.
I would
Okay.
want 3 too. The sound is so good. The graphics on the Super Nintendo were amazing.
3's
The
good.
levels, more variety.
I'm not saying 3 is bad. I just
Yeah.
like the first one better.
And I'm not saying I won't vote for
I have the third one. I just haven't really dove much into it just because I play 1 over and over and over.
That's fantastic, Wales. I see it. It's behind you.
Nice.
And I would personally probably rather have a Contra on the list than a Mega Man.
Yeah,
That's
me
just
too.
me though.
As would I.
Oh,
No,
I think
obviously.
so. I think I would agree with that.
So if
Eric's
it
like,
comes
"Y'all
down to
suck."
that, then I'm willing to split my vote to Contra to get it in. But for now, I would rather have Contra 3.
Same.
I think it's a far superior game. Although, like you guys said, Contra was the first one, the Konami code. I still love Contra. And in my opinion, probably better than the arcade version, right?
Yep.
The Nintendo
Yeah.
version?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very much so.
That's a great pick,
It
Will.
is, Will.
I'm
Yeah.
telling
That's a
you,
good one.
that's going to get
Hey,
in one way or another, I think.
Look
It's
at me
just a
coming
matter
through
of-
clutch. How about that?
That was a really good
That
pick.
broke my loser ass streak. All right.
Nope.
That was
Nice.
really good.
All right, Endgame.
Me, okay. Well, why don't we bring it? Oh man, why don't we bring it back to the Streets of Rage versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Turtles in Time? It sounds like you guys want to get one of those on there. I really like Turtles in Time, so I'm willing to vote for that. I'm not willing to vote
Let's
for
just
Streets of
put
Rage
it
2,
out there
so
as
let's
the
see.
two against each other. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's put it up. Can we agree that one of those should be on the list as of right now, or do we need to get the 4 votes to get it in?
I agree that I think we should vote between the two. So that would be yes, I agree one of them should be in.
Okay.
One of them definitely deserves to be in the top
Okay.
25.
So top 3, then. So
What?
so 3. So we're all gonna vote. We're gonna put in our votes for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So we know Dan's vote is for
Streets of Rage 2.
Streets of Rage 2.
but I'd be fine with Tit as well. I'm fine with Tit.
Yeah.
So
I'm
You always
I'm
are.
saying my voice, my vote is for Streets of Rage 2 if I have to pick between those two.
I would do Turtles in Time.
God, it's tough, but I would give the edge of the Turtles. I just have more fun with it.
Up to you, Wolf. You're the
I can't
decider.
believe I have to pick this.
No, right.
This is-
You guys
I can't
suck.
believe you're putting me up to this. This is nuts.
We were just talking about Turtles in Time.
he said both. He said we're
I
putting
did
both
say
on
both.
I want both. I want both so bad.
Could potentially get both.
I mean, to be fair,
There's 4 spots.
number 23 on my list is Turtles in Time. Streets of Rage 2 is not on my list, but in analyzing both games, it's probably
It's
better beat 'em up. Oh,
Doesn't
God.
necessarily have to be the better one.
I'm gonna go Turtles in Time.
All right, Turtle.
Just
Tits.
for
Oh.
nostalgia,
We got
just
tits.
because I love
Yeah.
the goddamn Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and just
We all do.
yeah.
And Wolf, it was one of the first games where you really felt like the arcade, you were playing the arcade
Yep.
in your house. Like
Yeah.
it was
Yep.
like that close.
Yep.
Cool. All right.
That was
Right.
a tough call.
Yeah, I hate God. That one was.
Dude, that's
man.
been here since the beginning of this
Yeah.
marathon.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that was my first game with Turtles.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Well,
It's been
you
here-
got 2 in a row, buddy.
You
That's
got
right.
2 in a row, Will.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Eric, you're up, buddy.
It only took the next day to do it.
That's right. Yep.
One
Now
person
we
later.
all got our
Yeah.
second win.
Contra didn't get in, did it? Or
Mm-mm.
is it
No,
it's
not yet.
tabled
Okay.
for now.
It's right there. Just
It's
like
right
Turtles
there.
was right there.
We're almost done. Let's close this out.
All right.
I mean, we
Yeah.
have 20. Do we have 23? Is that where we're
Yes.
at? Or
I'm
Okay.
counting right now. 1.
What games do we still have tabled?
Resident Evil 4.
We have three
Metal Gear
spots
Solid.
left. 3
Yeah.
spots.
Oh, we're at 22.
All right.
So the tabled games are Resident Evil 4, Metal Gear Solid, Mega Man X, Twisted Metal 2, Rock Band 2, Out of This World, Super Mario RPG.
Ooh.
Three spots left.
I want to bring up Mario RPG again. I want that shit in there. It's one of the tabled games. I'm saying that needs to be in there. It was just remade because of how good it is.
I already gave you the
I'll
vote
vote it
last
in.
time. I was there.
Yeah. So Dan's there. It's me and Dan. Wales is a
I voted
no.
it in.
Endgame says
Yep.
yes.
It doesn't mean it can't be pulled out, Wolf or
Yeah,
Wales. If you guys bring up
Okay.
another one,
All right. If we're gonna do that, just to move things along, I'll give you my vote.
Oh
right,
we
man.
can pull it out. We can absolutely pull it out. If you bring a banger that we're like, how did we miss this game? Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have to vote on which game we're pulling out.
Right. Yeah. So I'm saying Mario RPG, and it gets in. So
It's in.
we're good.
It's in. All right, Wolfman, you're up.
Two spots left, folks.
Oh.
Yep.
All right. So a lot of mine are tabled. Resident Evil 4 is tabled. Mega Man X is tabled.
It
All
doesn't
right.
mean you can't bring them back up.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah,
because
that's
now
what
we're
I
getting
did.
down to the
All right. I'm gonna pay homage to Wales because he mentioned open world games. He mentioned Grand Theft Auto 3. I know Vice City is the one that ended up getting in, but it was his initial pick. I'm going to pick something that I think I like even better than that. And it is one of, I think, probably
I have another game. All right.
one of my favorite open world games of all time. And my profession is I teach history, and one of my favorite genres is the West, the Wild West. And the game that I'm picking is Red Dead Redemption. I thought the
first one or
story
the
was
second
amazing. Well, the second would not
first,
make
second
the
one
list
is-
because
Oh,
it's
yeah,
after.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
have picked the second,
Yeah.
but for the sake of our rules, I will go Red Dead Redemption. I love the character, the main character.
James Marsden, right?
Yeah. Yep. I loved the
Cyclops.
backdrop. I loved all the ancillary characters. I thought the gunplay was great. Great controls. Just that's my pick. Red Dead Redemption.
I'm gonna say no because I want a different open world game. So I'm sorry, but not that it's a bad game. It's a great game. Love it. But I think I like one better.
I'm not. This a no for me too. Sorry. You know me.
I've never. I've never played it, and I'd much rather have Streets of Rage 2 in over that. But
all right, there it is.
I would. Wolf,
No,
I would
Endgame.
say that game should be. It's not on my top 25, but that game is an amazing game. The middle part kind of slogs down when you're in Mexico, but the end, when you get to that ending and you think the game's over, to me that the game would have been just fine. But then you get that aftermath, and it's like hours and restarts it. Amazing, but we don't have enough votes, so moving on.
Yep.
All right, so this is me. All right, so I'm gonna bring. Do I want to do one of the tabled games? I'm thinking I want to bring one of the tabled games back.
2 games left, Dan.
We got 2 games left, and I'm looking, and I'm like, all right, I would love to talk about Steel Battalion, but there's no way that that's gonna make it. So that's the only time it's getting mentioned on this episode is just gonna be then. But I am gonna go back to Resident Evil 4.
Yes.
If Code Veronica didn't make it, Resident Evil 4 has to be there. It just does. I can't see.
100%.
I can't see another game on this list that should be on there outside of Streets of Rage 2. But we already had that one kind of tit one out. So yeah, those are the only. I have to say Resident Evil 4.
Between Eric and Wales.
I already said no to a second Resident Evil.
Okay.
Do you have another suggestion?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. What's up, Wales?
Oh, I will say I haven't played it. Like I don't know the Resident Evil games.
He's a no.
Okay, so I wasted. That's
so,
fine.
Dan, what about this? We're to the point where I don't know that we're going to get 4 votes for anything, unless if everyone wants to look at the list. If they have something they want to offer that they think they can get all 4 votes, otherwise we might have to go to tiebreaker time.
I think I can. I want to offer something and see what kind of votes.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
Go for it right now.
Offer multiple things yet. I'm not trying to shut anybody down.
Nope.
I just know I don't have anything. I would keep going back to the fight of Resident Evil 4 at this point.
Yeah.
I want to fight for any of my other games. I'm looking at other people's lists. I don't want to fight.
I don't even have Resident Evil 4 on my list, but
right
based upon what's going on, that's it.
So
right,
this game
but if people still have games they think they can get through, let's talk about them. Otherwise, it's going to be tiebreaker time.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I maybe I can get the votes for this. It was on my original list. I took it off. Now I'm putting it back on, which is fine. But it's been re-released like 20 times at this point. The original one
Skyrim.
was for Xbox 360, and yeah, it's Skyrim. I did over 300 hours in this game.
I was
and
being sarcastic. Are you serious? You put in Skyrim?
I'm putting in Skyrim, dude. I love that game.
Yeah, I would much rather you fight for Wild Arms, Eric, not Skyrim. Skyrim's a no for me.
I like Skyrim. I like my Daedric armor. I liked playing it. Top 25 console games for me? Absolutely not. Sorry, it's just not.
Well, that's it. Then we're done. So let's move
It's
on.
freaking Bethesda, man. I mean,
What's Skyrim?
I know.
I like Fallout better than Skyrim.
Yeah.
You like what?
I like Fallout 3, New Vegas. Oh, here's a game. Not even on my list. Do you guys at all have any feelings towards Deus Ex?
Nope.
No.
Awful game.
Okay. What about
Horrible
Shadow
game.
of the Colossus?
Oh yeah, or Ico,
Yeah.
Shadows of the Colossus, or Ico. When you start talking about games like that,
or like Okami. Those are some games that were right outside of my top 25 that I'm like, I don't know if we get to a point where we can't get games and everybody else likes those games. Who knows? But just throwing a few out there. If you guys have any like that you want to.
How
throw
about
out.
Uncharted 2? Thieves
Nope.
Among Thieves.
I mean, really good, but we're down to
Really
2 games.
good. Really good.
You guys don't feel that a lot of these games are the same as each other?
Okay, here you go. Then how about this one? Luigi's Mansion on GameCube.
Ooh.
I would vote for that over Uncharted 2 or Resident Evil 4.
Not Resident Evil 4, but
No.
I like
Resident
Luigi's
Evil.
Mansion. That's a
Is
great.
is
great
Luigi's
game.
Mansion worth one of those extra 2 spots that are left? Do you think it is top 25, or do you think something like Rogue Leader from GameCube?
I don't know what Rogue Leader is.
That's a Star Wars
Star
game.
Wars.
Okay, how about this? What do we got? Any Metal Gear Solids? Anybody interested in possibly that?
I'm open
For
to that.
The last 2 spots.
I mean,
How is that not the same as like other games we've put on?
I agree with
No,
Eric.
what
I
I'm
mean,
going to
the
do is
two
I'm going to write
spots left.
down the ones that we're kind of interested in, and then.
oh, you
those
put.
are gonna
Oh
be
yeah, we already have a
possible
Metal
tiebreakers.
Gear on there. That's right. I totally forgot.
So Metal Gear 1, no, nobody interested.
We got
No.
3. We got Snake
Okay.
Eater in there.
Mega Man X, anybody interested in
Yes.
possibly one of the last 2 spots?
I'm interested.
I
in
could
that
throw.
because
It was just outside of. I mean, I could throw that one there. Yep. There's my
Okay.
vote. I'll give my vote for it.
There you go. There's 4. There's 4
Okay.
for Mega Man.
There you go.
Okay.
Mega Man X. In.
Oh, wow. It's in.
Okay, last
Well,
one.
and it doesn't mean we can't pull one out yet. I'm just trying to go through our maybe list just in case there's extra thoughts on it. So Twisted Metal 2, any real passion for that one?
I would
Rock
say
Band
Twisted
2?
Metal's like 26, but yeah.
No.
No. Okay. This was one that we had some chatter about before. It was on Wales' list before we even started this. In the chat where we were talking about what games we were going to have, and that's Punch Out Wii. Any interest in that potentially making one of? Well, shoot, we're down to 1 spot unless we're pulling a game out.
I mean, God, it's on my list. Well, you just said it was, but I mean, like, it's a great game. But again, I mean, top 25 of all time.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
that's where I'm at on that.
That's a game I think
And I
if it
love
would have
it.
got brought up earlier, maybe we could have got it in. This late, to me, I want that last spot to be Resident Evil 4. What do you guys all want
Dude.
that last spot to be?
25 games of all time, and you're gonna put 2 Resident Evils in there.
I like again.
100%.
I
100%.
yeah. If I had to go
Without
between.
question.
Yeah, it is a great game, but if I had to go, we have 1 spot left, and it's Resident Evil or Streets of Rage 2. Streets of Rage 2 is going on.
Streets of Rage 2.
I already said Streets of Rage 2, so.
I can't give my vote yet for that.
Over Resident Evil 4.
Oh, no. No. Resident Evil 4 would get in before Streets of Rage.
Resident Evil 4 is a top 5 game of all
Yeah.
time on most people's list.
That's
that doesn't matter
iconic.
for this list. This is our list.
Mhm.
That being said, it should be in the top 25. What else do you guys have? We're down to the last game, guys. Unless
All right. Hey, look, you throw enough poop against the wall, something will stick. I'm
Yep.
throwing it out there. I know it's not going to get
Puppeteer.
in. Puppeteer.
Haven't played it, so don't know.
Yeah, same.
It
I
is
do
really
enjoy
good.
it, but Resident Evil 4 needs to be in there, Wolf.
Yeah, I can't give that one. I like Puppeteer a lot, Wolf,
I
but
like Puppeteer too.
top 25, I don't know.
If we're pulling Resident Evil 2 out, I'll vote for Resident Evil 4.
Oh, heck no.
Ooh, trade
Ooh,
and barter.
That's interesting.
I just don't
What
want
about-
2 Resident Evils in there.
I would vote Resident Evil 4 over Resident Evil 2 if we're only getting one.
I would too if we're only getting one. If
I have no
that's
saying because I've
coming
never
down.
played one, so I wouldn't know.
Eric, is there a different game we can pull out and get Resident Evil 4 and one more game?
I'm not putting 2 Resident Evils in the top 25 list of games of all time. I don't feel it deserves it.
We put 3 JRPGs for you too, Eric.
That's a genre. That's not a series of games. I mean, I had Final Fantasy IV on my list, and I have it above a lot of other games, but I didn't
Eric,
say it.
They
because,
are in the same franchise, but Resident Evil 2 has the tank controls, the fixed camera angles. It's a totally different play style than the more action-packed, over-the-shoulder, where you're running for your life, jumping through windows. So it is different.
No, yeah, I know.
Whereas
I
if
like.
we had Code Veronica or the first Resident Evil, I would absolutely 100% agree with you.
To me, it's not different enough. It's
Okay.
Resident Evil. And
I would take out Mario RPG and replace it with Resident Evil 4 because we have a ton of role-playing games.
Eric's face.
I would do that as well if it's not going to make the last spot.
Dude, you're talking about 2 games in the same franchise.
They're
in the
so
top
different.
25.
They're ridiculously different. They're not even close to the same.
Is there any other game that you think deserves the spot more?
This is what I love. This is the part that's like what I've been waiting for.
Wait, we
I
already.
feel like this is like the college fucking playoff. That's where you're trying to get your top like teams in to play them.
Yeah.
Dude, I
This
would
is why
rather
people
have
got
Rock
pissed
Band 2 than Resident Evil 4.
I
Oh
agree.
my god.
I brought
That's
up-
a
Because
great-
I feel like that's more
That's a great
representative of a top of list of all time. You're getting a genre that's not in there. How can you not have that represented? You already have Resident Evil represented.
We don't have light guns represented. I mean,
Okay,
not
let's do
every
Time
genre is
Crisis.
gonna be
We don't have
represented.
Time
We don't have
Crisis
any
2
sports
was
games.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Time
there's no
Crisis
sports
2
games.
then.
There's no race.
That deserves
There's no
the spot
racing.
more than
There's no racing
Resident Evil
games.
4.
Okay.
None of the,
Time
none
Crisis
of, none of
2
the
I
need
can
for
talk into.
speeds. None of the
Resident
need
Evil
for
4,
speeds.
A top 5 game all time. It has to be on here.
Then take off Resident Evil 2.
I don't know if we have the votes to do that.
I mean, if it's
To me, both deserve a spot.
they do both deserve a spot, but
100%. What about, okay, Wolf,
Feature it too.
how passionate are you about the Tetris? You brought that up.
I'm not taking Tetris off.
Okay.
No
we have
way.
to look at games that we need to take off that we got in there. At this point, there's one spot left. Mega Man X. How passionate?
Yeah, there's a lot of Eric games that pass through, isn't there?
There is.
Yeah. I just
Really
realized
good
that.
at debating.
He's swinging that cod around right now.
Chrono Trigger. No, I'm just kidding.
Did we vote on a Contra or did we table that?
Table.
Contra's tabled.
Yeah,
I think
that could get in too.
Contra 1 deserves it more than Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, it's me too.
I don't think so. But that's again,
No.
we're just gonna be splitting hairs now. So we got one spot left. Eric is straight up not gonna vote for another Resident Evil. Wales hasn't played it, so it'll never pass.
Right. They'll never pass.
So we have
Other games,
as far as tabled, We have nope, you got your Mega Man X in there. We have
Eric, do you have any other games that you would recommend?
Not any that anyone else is gonna like.
Wales, do you have any games that you would recommend?
I mean, I'd love to see, like, say, NHL Open Ice, because that was a PlayStation 1. That was the only port it went
See,
to.
I think that deserves a spot more than Resident Evil because you're getting the sports genre in there.
So-
What else do I have? Or SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, but nobody likes wrestling. We've got a Mario Kart, Sonic 2, that didn't make it. Contra didn't make it.
if
So-
Tekken didn't make it. King Griffey Jr. Baseball for Super Nintendo. There, Punch Out Wii, no. NFL Blitz, that was PlayStation 1 and Dream, or IDK 2001. And then the rest is Killer Instinct, Jurassic Park, Ridge Racer.
I love you guys. If I had to say, between there's 3 games that I see right now in there.
Yep.
So
I think we vote.
and here's I'm gonna throw another one weird in there too. Again, is that we have Streets of Rage 2 still out there. We have Resident Evil 4, and I actually think that in that last position, what should be in the conversation is Mass Effect.
Okay.
The original Mass Effect should be, and if that's what we're talking about, these ones, that is different enough, and I like that better than Red Dead Redemption. And you guys got close to voting that one in, so that's why I'm bringing that stuff out.
Any thoughts on Mass Effect over Resident Evil 4 or Streets of Rage?
Mass Effect-
Not over Resident Evil 4.
Mass
Okay.
Effect over Resident Evil 4.
Mass Effect. So we got 3 Mass Effects.
Never
I mean,
played
yeah.
it. I have no idea what the story even is, so I couldn't.
Okay, so we're gonna run
I
into
couldn't
this.
tell you.
So
I know.
So I think this. Okay, so if we can't decide on this last one, we're gonna have to run with the top 24, and we will just have to do some sort of fun game, and then we'll have a special one that's gonna get thrown in at the end. Now,
Hold on. I have another idea I want to float.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Yep. I have an idea too. So yeah.
All right. What if we do Mario RPG out for Mass Effect,
Ooh.
and then we leave that 5th spot for something else?
Like Resident Evil 4. Love it.
No,
Sold.
not Resident Evil 4. Something that's not another Resident Evil game.
I mean, I would be okay with that because actually I think Mass Effect 2 is better than Mario RPG. So
Don't agree
Here-
with that, but I
here's
feel
the
like the
other-
better representation.
have you ever
if we
played
have-
Mass Effect 2?
No.
Okay. So it's tough to say that if you haven't played it.
That's true.
Here's the other.
But he's
thing.
willing to put it in over our Mario.
But I'm
RPG,
willing to
which
put
was
in a-
his game.
Yeah, I'm willing
I
to
know.
put in
Well,
a Mass
that's
Effect
impressive.
game over
Yeah.
Mario RPG. So
That was his idea. He's putting in a game that he's never played over one of his top 25.
That's pretty special.
That is
Yeah.
special.
Okay, Dan, your game was Resident Evil 2. Let's say we do this. Are you open to flipping Resident Evil 4 for Resident Evil 2?
I am
or
not.
is that okay?
He's not. Nope.
Because the other option,
I'm
I
with
agree,
Dan.
like,
I love Resident Evil 2. So
I love this.
So do
option,
I.
Eric, as a possibility. The other idea that I had is we had Resident Evil 4, Contra, Streets of Rage 2. Do we table those? Like everybody puts their order of those 3 games. If whatever game you put number 1 gets 3 points, whatever game you put number 2 gets 2 points, whatever game you put number 3 gets 1 point. We add up all the points, assuming there's not a tiebreaker, but assuming one of the games wins, that's the game 25. So we could
Okay.
do that, or
I'm
we
good
could
with that.
do what you suggest. Which the reason you're doing that is because that does change up the RPG. You know, we're taking out an RPG, putting in a different RPG. So I think, like, I love that because I get Mass
Well,
Effect on the list. But
no,
do
I
we
think
have a
Mass
game
Effect should
25
go
then?
on the list because I feel like the list should cover. If you're doing a top 25 of all time for console games, it should cover something from as many genres as possible. That's
Okay.
just my feeling of it. And I feel like Mass Effect was ridiculously popular. People loved it, and I feel like it doesn't get a representation in here. And so I feel like that should go in over Mario RPG.
And it kind of covers your Skyrim, right? Like where
Right.
it's
Right. Exactly.
in a way.
Okay.
I disagree.
So listen, tell me if you think this is. I think this is the time that we take those 3 games and we do the number system.
Okay.
So we have
Okay.
we have Resident Evil 4, we have Mass Effect, and we have Streets of Rage 2. So
Okay.
so you get
give it
you get one number
Well,
1, one number
I
2,
thought it
and
was
one number
Contra.
3.
I thought it was Contra.
Are we doing Contra over Streets of Rage 2?
No. We were doing
Streets of Rage
Contra
2,
over Mass Effect.
Contra,
Over
Mass
Mass
Effect
Effect?
was going in.
Okay.
because I feel
Right? Or am I wrong?
No, I feel the reason Mass Effect was brought into this is because we were taking out an RPG and putting one in.
Right.
Is that
that's
correct?
yes.
So,
that
so
was
don't get me
what
wrong.
was
I would love to have it on there, but I think the 3
Okay.
votes would have been Streets
Contra.
of Rage 2, Contra, and Resident Evil 4.
Okay, so your number 1 that you want, you give the most points to. So
3,
if you
2.
3 points for the one that you want, and 2 points for the second, and of course, and then the
second
first
play
one.
and then one.
What,
Yep.
So-
what are the 2? It's Resident Evil 4. It's Streets of
Streets of
Rage,
Rage
and what's the
2
other?
and
Streets of
Contra.
Rage
And
2
Contra.
Okay.
Original
Tit
Contra.
is already in, right?
Yes,
What?
Tit is in.
Tit
Yeah.
is already
yes.
in. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because
All right. So I have my list.
once we finalize this last game, we'll have one more. Does anybody want to pull anything out for a game? And then
Yeah.
if that's
Yes.
a no, then we're done.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, there's a game
Yeah.
I would pull out.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
no, 100%. We need to at least explore that because
Yeah.
the list isn't final until we agree that nothing else is getting in.
yep.
Yep.
Okay,
So I have my order.
ready. Go
I
ahead,
have
give
my
us your order, Eric.
I have mine.
My order is Contra, Streets of Rage 2, Resident Evil 4.
Okay, Wales.
Streets of Rage 2, Contra, Resident Evil 4.
Okay. Endgame.
Resident Evil 4, Contra, Streets of Rage 2.
Okay, Wolfman.
Okay, I am going to say.
Dan, you keeping track of the tallies?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got it.
So I'm going to say Resident Evil 4 is my first.
Mhm.
Then Streets of Rage 2. Then Contra 3.
Okay.
Contra 3 wasn't on the list.
It's just the first Contra, yeah.
Just first
But
Contra.
still, same thing. Either way.
Oh, okay. Well, then Contra last.
No, yeah, same thing. Same, doesn't change order.
All right, so because you guys don't
Wait,
know what I have, so
Yeah, what's yours?
So I totaled it up, so you guys can work along with me. And I had mine done first, but mine is Resident Evil 4 as a 3, Streets of Rage 2 as 2, and Contra as 1. So if you work up the totals, it is Resident Evil 4 at 11, Streets of Rage 2 at 10, and Contra 1 at 9.
Oh, how close can you get?
Nice.
Woo!
Yeah.
That is game number 25 as of now. Our 25 games are finally set.
No, wait a second. Is Mario RPG is out, right?
Nope, it's still
Yeah,
in.
it's
Oh, it's still in.
Yes.
No, they
Oh.
pulled that out.
For
No, I
now.
thought they pulled that out for Mass Effect.
Is
Yeah,
Ma-
that's what I
Oh,
thought.
Mass Effect is in there now rather than RPG?
No.
Yes.
No.
I floated the idea.
No, I
Oh,
didn't
my
think it was
God.
done. It was not done.
I
No,
don't think we
RPG
did
is
it.
still in.
Okay.
So Mass Effect is not in then.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
I
not.
vote for
Okay.
it. Pulling out Super Mario RPG to put in Mass Effect.
Oh, okay.
Any takers?
No.
It's a different RPG.
I take it. I vote
and it's
for it.
his game. Pulling Super Mario RPG, we have two other Super Nintendo JRPGs. Pulling that out to put in Mass Effect to represent the third-person North American RPG franchise, story-driven.
All right.
Consequences.
I'm down. I'll give it
Wolf?
to you. I'll give you the swap.
Which Mass Effect?
Whichever Mass Effect you want. Just like I said at the beginning, it needs to be represented. I'm fine with whatever one we vote on.
You said
Okay.
2,
I
so
would be
Mass
down
Effect
with
2
that.
then.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
So it isn't. That's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mass Effect 2 is in. Okay, so here's the list. So we have. So check,
In
double
no
check
particular
me.
order.
Yeah, no particular
No
order.
particular
double check
order.
me.
That's
Yeah.
coming up
Double
later.
check me here, Wolf. Okay, so we
Okay.
got Super Mario 3, Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, Final Fantasy 7, Super Metroid, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Mortal Kombat 2, Last of Us, Mario Kart Double Dash, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, Resident Evil 2, Final Fantasy 3/6, Chrono Trigger, Gears of War, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, God of War 3, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest, Tetris, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Mega Man X, Mass Effect 2, BioShock, TMNT Tit, and Resident Evil 4.
I'm actually pretty damn happy with that list.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
That's a
That's
pretty solid list there, you guys. I think we did pretty well. Okay.
Any final games you want to try to get in to pull out a game, or are we?
I'm pretty solid with that.
Locking this in?
That's
I'm surprised at how happy I am with that list, honestly.
that's a good solid list. But guess what? I'm gonna flip something on its ear right now, and I am gonna throw in the biggest monkey wrench we've had today, and I'm gonna introduce something called a snub game, a game that us individually feel should be in the top 25 that is not in the top 25, and we're going to take those into consideration, and we will have conversations about that, which will be brought up and discussed with on Endgame's channel when that comes into play. So so we all kind of understand that. The audience doesn't understand it, but Endgame, why don't you go ahead and kind of give us a little bit more of the explanation of what it is and give us your snub game.
Yeah, so basically the snub game is a game that you fought really hard for to get on the list, but the group didn't vote for it. And Mass Effect was going to be represented whether you guys voted it in or whether that was my snub game. So that was going to be my snub game. I might have to think about it a little bit longer. Should we make these a surprise for the video? Or do you want me to say what it is?
That's a good question.
I don't want it to
do on
be
the
a
video.
surprise.
Yeah.
I could do 25, 24, 23 down to 1 and then say these are the games that Dantron voted in.
Let's go snub. Let's just announce them. What are you thinking?
And it can change if you really think about it and you want to flip it.
Yep. But as of right now, snub game.
Okay, let me look at my list here. And I would say it has to be Metal Gear Solid 1. That would be my snub game.
Okay.
We got Metal Gear Solid 3 in there, so I'm totally happy with the list. I'm proud that game got in there. But I would have put Metal Gear Solid 1 in because I do think iconic boss battles and the Hideo Kojima, all the crazy stuff with reading the memory card and all that. So I would put that game for right now for my snub game.
Okay. All right, Eric, what about yours?
I'm fighting between two games that I want as my snub game. My snub game. Skip me for a second.
All right, Wolfman.
Love this, Dan. Love this.
My snub game's Puppeteer.
Yes, that's why you didn't bring it up. He's like, it's gonna go in. Puppeteer.
Yep.
I knew that was going in no matter what.
All right, Wales.
Yeah, it's my two. One of them wasn't on my list and should have been on there. And the other one that is on my list, I'll say that one. So I would say it was Contra.
Contra
Nice.
Would have been Streets of Rage 2, but
That's a
go with
great
Contra.
snub game.
Yeah, it is. Heck yeah, man.
All right,
All right.
so you ready, Eric?
Yeah, I got mine.
I'm ready.
All right, my snub game's Wild Arms.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Love it.
Nice.
Love it. Absolutely.
That's a great pick.
Yep. And so I'm torn between two snub games for me, and I discussed both of them.
Can I guess?
You can guess the two that I'm torn between.
Banjo, Kazooie, and Streets of Rage 2?
Nope.
Nope. Oh, dang it.
I think I know. Is it
Code Veronica.
Code
is
Veronica.
yeah.
Code Veronica.
Woo!
I'm gonna go with Code Veronica as my snub game.
Yes.
I
Can you
love that
believe
game.
3
I love
Resident Evil games should be on the top 25 list.
Eric, 4 if you count Marvel vs. Capcom 2 with Jill Valentine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. That's it. It was a
Okay.
close
Oh,
one
this is
between
so
that and
good.
Banjo, but
All right.
just it's a freaking work of art. Like that game, so many Resident Evil games. Pull the fact that it's not Resident Evil. You can call it Parasite Eve. Take that title and put it on there, and
Yeah, I love that game.
it's still a freaking great game. So I'm going with it. Sorry.
Dan,
Code
I love
Veronica.
that. And I thought you were going to fight even harder for Banjo Kazooie. So I actually played a lot of that this week.
It's good.
Because I love the collecting everything.
Yeah.
It has a purpose. It's not like games nowadays where let's put 1,000 icons on the map just to keep you busy. It's all purposeful. So I was surprised we didn't get that on the list.
Can we just let's just say a blanket statement right now. We don't think that any of these games on these lists are bad games.
Nope.
Oh no.
They're all freaking
They're
great.
iconic.
Mhm.
Yeah, every single game that was mentioned here was iconic and honestly was a great game. Because we were talking about, I don't play sports games, but Wales mentioned 2K, and I was interested in the first-person quarterback thing that he was talking about, and we were talking about Tecmo Super Bowl earlier. Now I'm gonna go play that stupid sports game, and I'm probably gonna get addicted to it, and it's gonna be dumb, but what I'm saying is we're not choosing between games we like and games we don't like. We like all of these games.
Correct.
It's just that we're trying to make a top list,
Correct.
Well, and Eric, like out of this world, me and Dan, we never played it, so we don't know. But it might be our next favorite game or top 10 game. We don't know.
Right.
So now that it brought up, you were willing to fight for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, And Secret of Mana, that was your number one game, and
That
it
was
just
my
missed the
number one.
list because we got Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 3. We had Super Mario RPG. It's like they're similar, So it's like, man, we have such awesome games that missed the list. Who knows? Maybe we need to down the road, if this is a successful thing, do 26 to 50. Down the road. Who knows?
Yeah. 3 of my top 10 didn't even make it. Didn't even. Not close. Banjo Kazooie, Super Mario Sunshine, or which was the other one? Or Streets of Rage.
And you know what was really cool too about how we did this? None of us knew how this was going to turn out. We brought up Mass Effect right away. That looked dead in the water to me. I wasn't even going to fight for it again, right?
Yep.
Turtles in Time looked like that was maybe not going to make the list, and both of those came back way late and got into the list. It was so cool how fluid this went and how it all turned out.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, you guys.
And when you read off the final list, I couldn't be happier. I'm like, that's
and you just add the snub. And you add the snub games on there as the little bit of frosting.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yep.
I agree.
This was awesome.
This was really, really fun. I really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me. Make sure that you guys, if you're checking this out, Endgame Arcade's YouTube channel, he puts up some fantastic stuff. Watch his coin challenges and all that kind of stuff. That's just great, great production value. He's wonderful. Same thing with Problem Solve with Eric. Make sure you check out his channel. He's phenomenal in the random stuff that he does. He loves keyboards. He loves doing weird stuff with like home products and repairs. It's great to watch a person that is like you doing things like that and trying to help you along with it is freaking awesome. And then also be looking out for his new joint that's going to be firing and dropping quick, the coindropcustoms.com. Keep an eye out for that.
Yes.
Coin Drop Customs.
Yes.
I'm excited for that as well, and I look forward to seeing that. And then Wales Sunday Fun Days, and then whenever you decide you're going to fire up that official YouTube channel, I'm going to pimp that like, like I'm walking.
Sunday.
So, anyways, I really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. This was a lot of fun. I can't wait till this gets out and these people get to see it and we get to hear from them. Let us know where we missed the mark, some things that you might like, some memories that you have. Just let us know in the chat. Be happy to go through that. We read all the chats and we'll make sure that we keep you up to date on when we're going to do more lives and more premiere chats. So again, Wolfman, thanks also for coming and hanging out. I like hanging out with you, man. It's brothers from another mother, and I really do appreciate you and all the hard work that you do and all the fun that you just bring. So
thank you. This was amazing, and this is we're almost 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I'm sure this is going to be split into maybe several episodes because nobody's going to sit
Yep.
down and watch this from 9:30 to almost 2 in the morning. So
It's definitely going to be split. I haven't figured out. It's probably going to be a three-way split with how it went. So, and that's what I was anticipating. So, anyways,
And-
Nice.
Oh,
Go
and
ahead.
real quick, Antron, this is a collab between our channels. So
Mhm.
I want you guys to be doing voiceovers for some of your games and stuff on the reveal video. And I feel like all 5 of us has a good representation of games on the list that we can be passionate about on the reveal.
Mhm.
So it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah.
it is going to be good. I'm excited for it. And thanks again to everyone. And if you haven't, please, it does help out my channel. If you can give me a like and maybe even a subscribe, that would be great. I can't guarantee that it's always going to be funny, but I can guarantee that it's always going to be weird. So,
no, it
anyways,
will.
Nice.
Entertaining.
yeah,
Guaranteed weird.
I can't guarantee everything, but I can guarantee weird. So, anyways, thanks again, guys, and thanks to you guys that are going to be watching this. And until next time,
Nice.
later.
Peace.
Are you?